If you would, I'm looking at Mark, the 5th chapter. Mark, the 5th chapter. We are in the miracle series, talking about miracles. What the Lord has done, what the Bible says about miracles, what we can learn about miracles, what we need to emulate to receive the miracles. We've gone through all of that. Mark, 5th chapter, starting at the first verse. Jesus and his followers went across the lake to the area where the Gerasenes people lived. When Jesus got out of the boat, a man came to him from the caves where the dead are buried. The man had an evil spirit living inside him. He lived in the burial caves. No one could keep him tied up, even with chains. Many times, people had put chains on his hands and feet, but he broke the chains. No one was strong enough to control him. Day and night, stayed around the burial caves and on the hills. He would scream and cut himself with rocks. Jesus was still far away. The man saw him. He ran to Jesus and he bowed down before him. Some versions say worship. Bowed down before him. As Jesus was saying, "You evil spirit, come out of this man," the man shouted loudly, "What do you want me? What do you want with me, Jesus? Son of the Most High God, I beg you in God's name, not to punish me." Then Jesus asked the man, "What is your name?" The man answered, "My name is Legion, because there are many spirits inside me." The spirits inside the man begged Jesus again and again not to send them out of the area. A large herd of pigs was eating on the hill near there. The evil spirits begged Jesus, "Send us to the pigs. Let us go inside them." So Jesus allowed them to do this. The evil spirit left the man and went into the pigs. The herd of pigs ran down the hill and into the lake. They were all drowned. There were about 2,000 pigs in that herd. The men who had worked and cared for the pigs ran away. They ran to the towns and to the farms and told everyone what had happened. The people went out to see. They came to Jesus and they saw a man who had many spirits or evil spirits. He was sitting down and was wearing clothes. He was in his right mind again. When they saw this, they were afraid. Those who had seen what Jesus did told the others what happened to the man who had the demons living in him. And they also told them about the pigs. Then the people began to beg Jesus to leave the area. Jesus was preparing to leave in the boat. The man who was now free from the demons begged to go with him. But Jesus did not allow the man to go. He said, "Go home to your family and friends. Tell them about all that the Lord has done for you. Tell them how the Lord was good to you." Yes. So the man left and told the people in 10 towns about the great things Jesus did for him. Everyone was amazed. Would you stand with me? Father, we thank you for that which we have experienced already. Thank you for the worship, Lord God. And now it comes time to hear the preached word. God, we would ask that you would speak to our hearts, our minds, and our spirits. that we would be receptive to the Word of God, that we would receive it and we would act upon it, and where we need to make a change, Lord God, let us make a change. God, we pray against the enemy today who would want to steal the Word, who would want to distract us, Lord God. We pray against him and we bind him right now in the name of Jesus. And we pray that if anything was done or been said, Lord God, that is not pleasing to your sight and keeps the Word from going forward, we ask for pardon and forgiveness. That we might be the conduit that you use today to communicate your Word. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. Amen. I want to talk to you from this thought. Devoted to caring for the unlovable. Devoted to caring for the unlovable. Here is everything I want to say to you in a nutshell. God's desire is for us to reach out and to love the unlovable. That's the whole plan in a nutshell. God's desire is to use us to reach out to those who are unlovable and love them. That's right. That's what he wants us to do. And this text dramatically shows us the conversion of a man who the Bible says had evil spirits in him. Somebody might call him cray-cray today. Crazy. Here was a man who was homeless, who's running around the hillsides and the mountains in the grave, and he first and foremost is naked. And he's screaming, and he's shouting, and he's cutting himself with stones. And I can only imagine that this man has got dry blood on him, and blood oozing from some places on his body that he just most recently cut. I can only imagine that the man's hair is matted. That you couldn't get a comb through there if you tripped about it. I can only imagine that this brother had never been around some homeless people. I can imagine that he was unclean. Living not on the streets, in the graveyard, in the cemetery. I can imagine he smelled worse than death itself. I can imagine that he was so very unkempt. It's easy sometimes to pass by people who look like we can imagine this man looks, smell like this man's smell. It's easy to let the odor and the visual keep us from ministering as we are supposed to minister. There was a lot of reasons to not be loving and to not see this man in a loving way. It's filthy. Somebody would say he's nasty. And somebody would say he was indeed unlovable. I put myself in the boat with the disciples. It's easy for me to imagine seeing this man. The boat just pulled up the shore. And here comes this naked, crazy, bleeding, shrieking. You can smell him almost before you can see him. Man coming running at the boat. I just stepped out of the boat. Just stepped on the land. And here comes this brother. I can imagine I'm in the boat and I'm grabbing the oars, and it's me and the oars, and whoever else didn't have time enough to get in the boat, they in trouble. Because I'm not going to be on the shore with this brother. I can only imagine. But that's not the picture to those who seem to be unlovable. Who is quiet up in here? That's not the picture. We shouldn't be running away from people. We should be doing what we did yesterday. We should be doing what Cooley did, stopping cars and telling folk of the love of God and where they can meet God and how they can meet. Giving out, handing out paper like Brother Knott doesn't have any problem walking up to anybody. Joseph Larry said it yesterday. He has, what did you say, Joseph? No fear. He has no fear. No fear. We need to be like Jesus, 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 Jesus. The Bible said that he had compassion on this man. He created him. So if he created him, he knew what he needed, and he was not afraid. He created him, so he loved him. Yes. He wasn't afraid to show his love for the man. How does the world treat somebody like this? How does the world treat somebody like this man? The Bible says in verse 4 that they tried to tame him. What does that mean? They tried to domesticate him. They tried to train him. They tried to break him. The Bible says that they put chains on him. They tried to reform him. They probably tried to change his habits and to help him understand how he was supposed to clean himself and where he was supposed to live. They probably tried to give him psychiatric counseling. But none of that worked. Somebody decided that well, maybe what we ought to do is just avoid him altogether. That's what it says when you look in Matthew chapter 8, verse 28. About the story, it says they decided to avoid him. Some concluded that this man was a hopeless case, and they just gave him up to the elements and decided that they didn't want to have anything to do with him. Unfortunately, this is how the world today responds. It's very easy. It's very easy to love people who are lovable. It's very easy to love somebody who's going to love you back. It's very easy to love somebody who thinks like you think. It's very easy to love somebody who comes from your block in your neighborhood. It's very easy to love some folks who are amenable to you and who seem to love you back. Here's the difficulty. It's very difficult to love somebody who seems to want to take advantage of you. It's very difficult to love somebody who's constantly got their hand out. I dealt with a person who was telling me that they're so tired of their family member because every time they talk to their family member, they got their hand out. So they avoid their family members now. Oh, we do that. Yeah. Hello, somebody. Even in the church sometimes. We do that to some folk. But here's what the Lord wants. The Lord wants us to express the love that he has. He was the creator. Jesus, who was a part of the creation, was in love with this man. Yes. And he expressed his love. He expressed his concern. He expressed his compassion to this man. It's not upon us to run away from people. It's upon us to run to them. Yes. To help them. And then we try to say, well, maybe it was a self-inflicted wound, and so since it was a self-inflicted wound, we're not going to minister to them. He put himself in this condition. Huh? He He lost his job and he did try to find another one. He's off his medication. He left the house. And he won't go back. We tried to take him to the hospital and he won't stay. He's off his medication. But you know what? He quit his job and left his family. So why should we care anything about him? Because he is a human being. Yes. He has no education. Dropped out of school. Why should we care about somebody who is not productive? Because one day he could be. Yes. Because one day he can be transformed. Yes. Because one day his condition can change. Yes. Because one day God can get into his life and stir him on and change him and transformation can come. Last week we talked about the blind man who was healed. And his parents, we said, they were going to talk about him and his healing. Because why was it? They were going to be thrown out of the synagogue, right? And this man, they would be thrown out because they expressed the fact that the Messiah had done it, right? Yes. You know what we said? You know what the word of God says? And what did I say to you? What did I show you in the scriptures? I showed you that when the man was indeed kicked out of the synagogue, what happened? He didn't go looking for Jesus. Jesus went looking for him. Yes. You know what the scripture said? Yes. Here we go again. Here is one who was an outcast really of society, who was living on the margins, in the creases and the crevices of life. You ever had to live in the crease or the crevice of life? Here was a man who was the outcast of society. It's amazing to me. Jesus traveled to see this man. How do I know? I can extrapolate it from the scripture. Yes. I'm looking at the scripture. I gleaned it from the scripture. Because what happens in the scripture? I read it to you. Jesus goes to see this man and to heal this one man. He doesn't heal anybody else. The scriptures don't say it. As a matter of fact, the scriptures tell us that the city came to the shore where Jesus was and told him, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to leave. The Bible says that they feared him. What was there to fear? Because what happens? The man doesn't fear Jesus. The man who was feared, the man who was cray-cray, he doesn't fear Jesus. The one who would normally have a reason to fear him because Jesus was the authority and he was contrary to the authority. He was living contrary to the authority. He doesn't fear the Lord. It's the same picture. God has gone through Jesus has gone through great extremes to get to this one outcast. Central Community Church of God. It is our job to get to the outcast. To get to the one who's living on the margins of life. In the crevices and the creases and the graveyard of life. It's our job. express the compassion and the love of God for them. It's up to us. The world may not know that there is a risen Savior if we do not do that. God's desire is for us to reach out in love to the unlovable. Why does God expect us to do that? Why does he expect us to do that? I'm going to give you 3 reasons I'm going to go. The first one is this. He expects us to do that because he's not here anymore. He's ascended to heaven. He's ascended to heaven. There's a story of the man who Jesus has the boat sail across the sea to save his one soul. Jesus loved him like nobody else. What about the people today? Hold on and think about it. Jesus isn't on the earth anymore. In Acts 1:9, he says, ye shall be my witnesses. What about the people today? Ye shall be my witnesses. He's basically saying, it's your job now. I'm calling you. I want you to show the compassion and the love of God. I want you to show the transformation of God. Who are you anyway? 2 Corinthians says that you are what? The ambassadors of Christ. Yes. What is an ambassador's job? It is to represent the kingdom. Amen. To the world. You are to show the love of God to those who seem unlovable. I said seem unlovable because everybody is lovable through God. Amen. Everybody's lovable through God. Everybody should experience the mercy of God through the saints of God. Through the representative of God. It's hard. It's hard in and of itself. By ourselves it's hard. You know what helps us to show people the transformation love of God? It's the power of the Holy Spirit. It's the power of the Holy Spirit. If we are devoted, that's what he wants us to be, is devoted. What does that mean? That means dedicated. That means enthusiastic. That means zealous. That means fanatical. Toward others for God. Fanatical to the one who seems to be unlovable. Doesn't come naturally. Doesn't come naturally. You have to have a supernatural transformation. You got to come out of your comfort zone. This is where we're comfortable. Yes. Right here. In this place. You come on in here, we're comfortable. We're going to witness to you. We're going to tell you the love of God. We're going to show you the power of God. We're going to sing, clap, praise the Lord. Show you how to do that. This is where it's comfortable. You got to get out of this zone. Into their zone. Their zone is your uncomfortable spot. Did Jesus wait around for people to come see him? No, the Bible says that he crossed the sea to get to this man. God's desire is for us to reach out in love to the unlovable. How does he expect us to do this? Number 2. Or why does he expect us to do this? Number 2. Because Satan, the devil, is operating right now. The devil is operating right now. We are in spiritual warfare. Betty preached a couple weeks ago about putting on the armor of God. Why? Because we are in a battle. We're at war with who? The enemy. And his demons. And we can see that this is true. Because the demons come and they're talking to the Lord. They're talking to the Master. This place right here, this earth right here is his realm. The Bible says he's running to and fro, seeking whom he may pat on the back. Seeking whom he may love. Seeking whom he may devour. And the Lord gives us a peek at this unseen world in this dramatic presentation between him and the demons. Because the man falls down and worships the Lord. But the demons ask to be sent, not out of the area. Why would they want to be sent out of the area? Because they got more work to do in that area. They got more work to do, and they got more folks that they're trying to possess right there where this man is. So they ask for permission to be sent into the pigs. They got sent out the area anyway, they got killed. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that we need to understand is that the devil likes to prey on people like the man in this text. The devil likes to prey on all kind of folk. But we who are the spiritual ones, it's harder for him to prey on us. If we're prayed up and battle ready, if we got on our armor, it's harder for him to accomplish his mission. But with somebody like this man, he is easy prey for the enemy. Easy prey. And the devil is going after guys like this guy and families like this man's family. Prey on them and to beat them down and to wear them down and to make them feel like they are unloved. And if we don't love them, they'll go to hell feeling like nobody loved them. Nobody cared. Satan invades their life under a false pretense. And he's trying to act like he's bringing them joy and bringing them fulfillment, but in reality, he's killing them and wrapping them in the bondage of sin. You don't know the whole story of this maniac man. Maybe he had no parents. Maybe he didn't feel like he was loved. Maybe he went to a church and he did not get accepted at the church. Maybe he came to Central. Maybe he came to Central. Sat next to somebody at Central and didn't feel the love of God. Maybe he came to Central. Sat next to somebody at Central and got talked about. Maybe he came to Central, sat among us, and we ignored him. What's my point? My point is this. We may not show an interest in the unlovable. We might not show an interest in the unlovable, but the devil will. That's my point. We may not show the love of God to somebody else, but the devil will show some interest. He can't show the love of God, but he can show some interest in them. And they can misconstrue his misguided interest in them for something they're missing. Ooh, it's quiet up in here. He will give them plenty of attention. He will take them in and welcome them. He will take them right on in and make them feel comfortable and welcome. He is plotting and planning to destroy them. Who will stand in the way of the devil? Who will be the Reggie Cooley standing in the middle of the street? Saying, you cannot come here. I like, start to say Dungeons and Dragons. That's not, what's that movie with there was three movies in one. They filmed it all at one time. Gandalf, Lord of the Rings. I like Lord of the Rings because Gandalf, which is the wizard in there, he's battling this demon. And they're on a bridge. And Gandalf grabs his staff, slams it on the ground. Boom! You shall not pass! Is what he tells the demon. Who's willing to stand in front of Satan and say, you can't go no further than right here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring the battle to you so heavy you're going to be tired and got to go running back home to your mama. Who's going to do that? Central needs to be that of those people. Central needs to be that place that will tell the devil, battle the devil for the soul and the sake of somebody else so their lives are not destroyed. We got to be the spirit-filled people to do that. To be devoted to caring for the unlovable and show them the true love of God. God's desire is for us to reach out and love the unlovable. Why does God expect this from us? Number 3. Because Christ's love can revolutionize a person's life. Look at this man. Once he experiences the love of God, what did the scriptures say about him? He's clothed in clothes. He's dressed in clothes. That ought to be the clue right there from the very beginning. That's what it is. That's the clue. Then his mind is changed and transformed. No longer is he screaming and cutting and running around. No longer is he happy in the graveyard. Guess where he's happiest? He's right there beside Jesus. Happiest beside Jesus. So much so that what happens? That the people come because they heard about what happened to the man and the pigs. And they find the man next to Jesus. Changed. Now, not always do you see a change on the outside and that means that there's a change on the inside. That's not always the case. We can't always see you changed on the outside and recognize, ooh, there must be something good on the inside. Because you can fool us. We can be fooled. But here in this story, not only is the outside of the man clean, not only is the outside of the man transformed, not only is the outside of the man clothed, but the inside of the man is clean. The inside of the man is transformed. The inside of the man is clothed with the Holy Spirit.
Yes, yes.
God desires for us to reach out in love to the unlovable so that they can be revolutionized and experience the revolutionary love of God. His mind, which was once tortured, is now at peace. That's what Christ's love will do to a person. Christ's love will do that to a person. It replaces the hostility with peace in a person. It replaces the sadness for joy in a person. It replaces the hatred with love in a person. person. It replaces the fear with hope in a person. It replaces the loneliness with friendship in a person. It replaces the despair with delight in a person. It replaces the guilt with forgiveness in a person. It replaces the bondage with liberty and freedom in a person. That's why we've got to reach out. That's why we've got to show the love of God for the unlovable person. Because it is transforming. Helps them to know that there is a God. What happens at the end of the story? This man loves Jesus so much, children, that where he ran seemingly to attack the boat, that's what it seemed like to the disciples, I'm sure. Where he ran to the boat before with problems, now he wants to get in the boat of new life. Yes. He wants to get in the boat with the Lord who saved him and cleansed him and set him free. What does Jesus say? He doesn't let him in. Why? Why? Why does Jesus let him in? Because Jesus recognizes what he said elsewhere. That he can only minister to those who want to be ministered to. These people had kicked Jesus out of their city because they didn't want to be ministered to. Because they were afraid. Because they couldn't see that the power of God was so beneficial. If it benefited this man and moved him out of the tombs, it would benefit them. They couldn't see that. They were afraid. So what did Jesus tell him? He told him to go and see his family. And tell his family and his friends what Jesus had done for him. And the Bible says that he went and he told 10 cities of the love and the mercy of God. Yes. Because this man, who was seemingly unlovable, experienced the love of God. Yes. That's what we got to do, Central. Amen. That's what we got to do. Amen. We got to go down the streets right here in West Jackson, right here, in this city, in this seemingly graveyard experience, because that's what it is. Not just West Jackson, the whole world is the graveyard. Amen. We're living in a graveyard. Do you want to live here when the Lord comes back? No, you don't. No, you don't. It's the graveyard. This is not the reward place. This is the death place. You gotta let somebody know of the love of God. Stand with me. God's desire is for us to reach out and to love the unlovable. Yes. To reach out and love the unlovable. Yes. To care for them. To minister to them. Yes. Even when we don't feel like it. I'm sure the disciples didn't feel like hanging around. But they were with the master, it wasn't their choice. Same thing with us. We may not feel like doing it, but we are with the